Alright, there's nothing to look forward to with Sim Update 3, and you are certainly going to get boned if you do not have a $3,000 PC. If you have any sort of modest system, this is a problem that I really only recognize with Sim Update 3. I don't remember it being so unbelievably prevalent in any other build, but the second your airplane gets to cruise, your VRAM will max out, and you will plummet in frames, and your GPU usage will lock at 100. Now, if you're lucky, doing something else on your PC or clicking off your screen or doing something might somehow help it and bring it back like it's doing right now, but because before it was at 20 frames a second and 100 on the usage, and I guess clicking off and opening OBS, ironically, has somehow saved it to some extent. But this has been the 8th trial run where I've lowered my texture resolution down to low. Everything as low as I can get it as far as VRAM goes to completely eliminate any sort of, maybe I'm being too overly optimistic with what my system can handle. And I've dumped down every setting to get rid of heavy VRAM usage is what I'm saying. Whereas the way I used to do it before, and didn't have issues. And without fail, no matter what setting I change, no matter what thing I do, at cruise, within 500 feet of hitting my cruise altitude, no matter what that is, it's not the same altitude. It could be 16,000, it could be 33,000, it doesn't matter. The second your plane rounds off at cruise, at least for me in my 3060 Ti, my Ryzen 5 5600, my VRAM skyrockets to, I don't know, a bunch of stuff. I don't know how to speak, I don't speak VRAM, but I speak GPU usage, and that goes to 100, and I also speak FPS, which plummets to the 20s and will not recover unless a freak accident happens like it has just now. I noticed it starting to do it again, and then it went to 100 and completely plummeted in frames. I paused the game. I double checked to make sure that my texture resolution was on low, and of course it was. And then I opened OBS to make this, and somehow it's somewhat bounced back, but this is an extremely rare case. It probably will never happen again, but this is life just saying F you. You're not going to show anybody the VRAM problems. It's going to bounce back and act normal, so I guess F me. But I'm just trying to give you a heads up for anybody that has any sort of VRAM use on the ground, up and climb. I was in 50 to 60 GPU usage locked at my frames, which I have set to 45 for the time being, trying to help with this monstrosity of a simulator. There's a give and take in flight simulation, and I have just been taking it hard. I've been taking it so hard. I'm so sore. Tired of taking it, dude. There's only so much I can allow. But this sim is hungry. This simulator is just bursting at the seams with issues that it needs to dump in me, dude. So expect to take it so hard that you can't sit down. You're gonna have to sit on a donut, dude. Not even joking. So, well, obviously I am joking. The simulator is not going to fornicate with you, but you'll feel like it did. You'd rather it did. I would rather this sim R-word me than deal with the VRAM issues that are happening right now. Of course, I'm being hyperbolic, but honestly, I'd consider it. Anyway, I don't know. This is a weird issue that I've never experienced before, and it's just really upsetting me. Because what could possibly have changed to make it that the second my little tip of my little airplane hits cruise, it goes, F you. You're done. You're done. Nothing you can do. Nothing. You're donezo. You're out of here. So I hope that's unique to me, but I have a stinky, rotten feeling it won't be. So expect that whenever Sim Update 3 comes out. But dude, on the ground, it is the best performance I've ever had in any simulator ever. On the ground, VFR has been unreal. So if you're solely VFR, okay, my recording completely stopped, and I genuinely, I'm worried for myself. I was so close to putting a hole into that monitor to the left of me. God, it would have felt so good. Oh, I would have just indulged myself in the sin of rage of just putting a hole, a fist-sized hole through it. So anyway, I'm going to scroll through my old captures archive, and we're going to talk about what I was saying before my system took an S word in my open mouth. If you fly exclusively VFR, you're in for a treat. If you fly anything big or anything fun, you're screwed. God, these pictures are beautiful. These were the good old days. Hey, I remember going up to that field. I used to kick and throw with Pop. Man, before his shoulder gave out. And before I don't know, I don't have any other bits there. Piaggio's class act. Anyway, we're F-worded, essentially, for a good couple months until this gets sorted out. That's a cool little plane. I can't remember, BR Sim, I think, makes the VTail, and anytime you search VTail Bonanza for Flight Sim, it comes up with the Coronado, but BR makes a pretty cool little, it's shitty, but in a cool way, you know, it's fun. That's a great picture. Was that Telluride? I got some bangers in here, dude. Anyway, yeah, so Sim Update 3 is just really fallen flat, and I will say there was an update at some point with Sim Update 3 that was so horrendous it made me crash out like a maniac, and it genuinely bummed me out waking up in the morning on a day. Look at that thumbnail. I remember using the thumbnail. That's a beautiful picture, and that's like one of my most popular videos, I think, because that's such a pretty picture. Anyway, there was a build that I despised, and it was the worst thing. This is gonna sound crazy. I think it was the worst thing Asobo's ever done, was that build of the Sim Update 3 beta, and it lasted for maybe 5 to 7 days, I want to say, before a new one came out. So we're itching right on when Sim Update 3 is going to be released. So I'm really, really dubious that it's going to be, the kinks are going to be worked out there. But God, I'm hoping, look at this 727. God, I'm hoping, that's another great picture. I'm hoping that this is some weird code where some sweaty, stupid, ugly nerd is going to be like, oh, there's a 0 there instead of a 1. It should say 000, 011011000, but it says 00011000001. You know, I don't know how computers work. I know those are their like favorite words, it's 0 and 1. So they'll talk to this stupid clanker of a machine and figure it out. But that being said, I started this very pessimistic with the Sim Update 3 is gonna blow fat chunks for anybody that has a modest PC, but I don't know. There's no telling, because we've had terrible builds that have turned into something completely sublime. So who knows? I'm in the beta stuff. Look at this cat. And sometimes the betas are just, you know, bananas. So I don't know. We'll see. That is a pretty airplane. Look how beautiful that is. Coronado just makes the most eye candy thing in the world, but every single panel in the entire world by them looks the exact same. You might as well not even make a new plane, but they're coming out with a new one, and it almost looks like an Aspen avionics suite. It kind of looks like this, but it's skinnier on both sides, and it's like a stacked. It doesn't look like Garmin or anything we've seen, so maybe I'm wrong. and it's some obscure Garmin that I'm not aware of, but I can't get the Learjet to work in Sim Update 3 beta either, so I miss it. It's such a cool little snazzy old jet that just has this vibe to it that I love. Anyway, that's at Belfast. That's so sick. I miss flying that jet. Look at that. That looks like a product page picture, but I took it. So I don't know. Play it by ear. We'll see what happens. I'm not hopeful, but I'm not hopeful now that I think about it. So I don't know. But I did want to rage out, and then my system started being doing all right, and then OBS crashed again. And if I think about it hard enough, I can conjure it back up, and you will hear my fist going through that monitor. And man, I love that picture. That's another one of my popular videos. See, either I had the weirdest shaped bird that caused this and no other damage, or I'm going so fast that my blades are bending, or I have propellers made of Play-Doh. So either way, I'm clicking on that video too, but I'm gonna give it another 30 seconds of just flipping through these. I miss the E-Jets, dude. Gosh, I miss those. They are dog S-word in 24, and Flight Sim Studios is MIA for the foreseeable future with that. Oh, this was the first time I've ever got GSX to dance. God, this is nostalgic, dude. I'm not even joking right now. I'm grinning ear to ear, man. Look at that. I've got some good... I never looked through these. This is simply for... If I see something cool, I take a picture. And most of the time, I scroll through looking for a certain one in my brain for a thumbnail. And I never stop to just go through these. Memory lane, you know. But anyway, so... I don't know why I took pictures of the marketplace. Look forward to Sim Update 3 if you're GA, VFR. If you're an airliner guy with a reasonable priced PC, be dubious and, you know, cross your fingers and pray to God, because it could be really, really, really bad. Look at this. I can't remember the developer of this. You'll know. It's what is this? 310? I can't remember. But you can have a dirty option, and when you set it to that, it has wash me. I thought that was the coolest, most unique, fun thing to add there. That looks like, you know, your kid came up and wrote that on there. What a fun way to add, a fun style to add into flight simulation, and I hope they make more planes. There's another, yeah, it's 310. There's another one, it's got a little sticker on it. How fun is that, dude? Anyway, it's 777. I don't know. I'm probably going to end this and I'm going to keep looking through these. Oh yeah, I had a problem with the Learjet. Last Sim update. Look at the reflection on that side of the windows. Beautiful. Alright. This is probably way too long. What do we have? 7 minutes on this part. So, I don't know. We'll see.